So Narges, salams, and welcome to our channel. And
Hello.
Such a great pleasure to have you here with us, and we just want to dive a little bit into your past and present success, and tell us when you moved to Canada, when your journey to Canada started.
Yes, salam, durud, hello.
Merci.
I moved to Canada as an adult. I finished high school in Iran,
Okay.
and and that was 24 years ago.
24 years ago, so quite a journey. So it's almost the same, actually almost the same as I moved here, and I remember those days like it was yesterday. Do you remember those days?
100%, of
Why?
course.
What was good, bad, and ugly, and funny?
Well, there was a level of numbness,
Okay.
right? Really jumping into the deep, cold ocean. You know, that's what it felt
Like
like.
literally.
Yeah.
Okay.
I remember taking that long flight going over the Pacific Ocean for 8 hours, and all I could do was write. And I decided at that moment, taking a flight out of Tehran to Toronto, I decided that I have to make a decision. Like, I have to leave what I've known as my life behind and start anew. So a level of numbness, a level of anxiety, excitement mixed with anxiety, right?
It's almost like going on a first date.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So you moved here and you found Canada different from Iran?
Very colorful,
Very colorful.
very colorful.
Yeah. But you're
Special.
also not just from Tehran, you're from mountain areas of Kurdistan.
I am, yes.
And
We
it's,
are Kurdish. We're from west of Iran, from the mountains.
Exactly. Nobody
Yes.
mess with Kurdish.
Yes, early childhood memories. My
Yeah.
father would take us basically climbing. You just like
Yeah.
crawl up the rocks.
Yes,
That's what we did as an
absolutely.
activity, yeah.
All right, right. You moved to Canada. You mentioned Toronto. You settled there, then
Yes.
moved to West Coast?
That's correct, yes.
Okay, why?
Why did I move here?
Yeah.
Got tired of cold and snow.
Okay.
Yeah, the
that's-
ocean, the beautiful forest, and yes, so literally it was as simple as that. I lived there for about 10 years, 11
Okay.
years, and I just needed a change, and I was tired of snow.
It's not just snow, because if you go to Montreal, it's clearly subcontinental climate, and people kind of can adapt to that because it's strong winter and very warm and humid summer, but warm and stable. But in Toronto, it's always wind from the lakes and all these changes. It's kind of destructive to health, my belief, but I wouldn't survive in Toronto myself. So I like Vancouver, and you found Vancouver very accommodating and beautiful, I guess.
It's gorgeous.
colorful and- yeah.
yes, you know, you step outside, you either see the mountains or the ocean, and that on its own, you just close proximity.
It's great. Some people joke you can swim in the ocean and climb the mountain within 15 minutes
Ski,
drive.
100%.
And it's true. So moving here,
Yes.
overall,
Yes.
do you remember anything funny?
To Canada?
Yeah, do you move here? Something happened to you that you still kind of keeping a secret?
You know, I think it became a funny story after. I remember the first few days, literally,
Okay.
you have to go get your social insurance number.
Right.
So you go to Services Canada.
Yeah.
And I noticed everybody was standing far away from each other. And I'm thinking, do I stink? Like, what's going on? Is everybody racist here?
Oh,
and then
my.
I realized there's a concept in Canada called personal space.
Yes, it's true. Oh my.
Yes,
oh my.
which now I actually kind of get antsy when I'm in a line and people are super close to me. I'm thinking, personal space, please.
Same here. Like, going back to Europe or anywhere in the world outside North America, pretty much, and people kind of stepping in your personal space.
Yep.
So like, because they're afraid that somebody will squeeze between
That's
you and
right.
them in line, and that's what they think. Okay.
Yeah, so cultural differences,
Cultural
lots
differences,
of those.
okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
How you handle it personally? Just kind of quietly with your stubborn, strong fighter character, or you express yourself, you try to change someone around you. What was your approach?
To be honest, periods of depression, definitely as a young adult and a new immigrant, but really being stubborn, And one thing that was I moved here with my family, my folks, and I have two brothers.
Right.
Something that my parents, definitely my mother, was adamant about was, and this could be controversial, not to stay within our community. In order to assimilate and learn the culture and the language, step out of your comfort zone. That's exactly what we did.
Narges, you touch base exactly on the subject of this conversation. Do you wanna, when you move to Canada, due to this very interesting diversity blanket, what we call mosaic, because everybody maintain own culture, survive within own culture. And some people actually betrayed by that feeling because they think it's okay to stay inside. And I think there is a huge disservice in
100%.
that. But you said your mother told you about that, and you followed your mother's advice.
Absolutely.
Mother's advice. Fantastic. So, and you found working with people of any culture,
Absolutely.
any race, any
Absolutely.
nationality helps.
Absolutely.
And it's pretty much secret of your success, I guess. We're getting back to your business now.
Truthfully, I would say so. I see people of my own culture, Persians, people coming from Iran. They move to the neighborhoods that are basically Iranian residents, right? That we know here in North Vancouver, West Vancouver, like pockets. And so you're speaking Farsi, you go to the corner store, you speak Farsi, you start going to community center,
you go to
finding
the bench, you
people
speak Farsi.
everywhere. And you know what? Again, I understand this is controversial. There's truth to that. You do want to find a little bit of taste of home and feel good, but that is the worst thing, in my personal opinion, based on my experience, also personal experience. That's the worst thing you could do to yourself if you're a newcomer.
Right.
Do not do that.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but what I found over the years working with immigrants, especially bringing them here in thousands and see how they settle and how they adapt to Canada, I found the other side of the spectrum is also dangerous. When people neglect own culture completely, they deprive their children of their cultural inherited background and stories and communication in native language. We see those with very tragic outcomes. And some of them coming back to that realization and then start teaching kids and pushing them to native schools and saying, now you have to learn Farsi, now you have to learn whatever language they speak.
Right.
I think that side of the spectrum is even more dangerous.
100%. That's a very good point. You really have to find the balance. Again, as my mother would tell us, our culture is very rich, so hold on to what's super valuable, right? And then assimilate and learn the new language, the new culture, the new social norms, right?
Yes.
So you can blend in with the community, but you hold on to your values.
Coming back to your success in business, definitely, when you started your own journey in business, I know you're quite successful, not only in the community of Persian clients, but I heard about you from many, many people who actually value your services. What do you do?
I'm an interior designer.
Which is very big, again, in Persian culture. And in some other cultures too, but it's just, I never saw Persian home, and I have so many clients and friends that kind of decided not to pay attention to interior design. Let's put it this way.
Yeah, we take pride in our homes,
yes,
for sure. I think as humans we do, but culturally, absolutely. We appreciate beautiful things and finer things, and
So, beautiful person taking care of beautiful things. What else makes you different, and what else would you attribute it to your success, if I may ask?
Sure. I would say what makes me different is not a tangible thing, right? So this is a question to ask my clients. But when I started my business, I wanted to be the client's advocate, the homeowner's advocate.
Okay.
Having gone to business school and then switching into the field of interior design, and I've been in the design build industry for the past 13 years, I've noticed that nobody really is out there to watch out for the homeowner, for the clients.
Right.
There's the business aspect of things, there's the contractors, and of course there's the design where you make things beautiful, but there is a whole gray area between the design and when you design something until you build it.
Yes.
And that's where the homeowners need more guidance. So where I come in, I bring that care, I bring that attention to details. I show my clients where their blind spots are. I help them ask the questions that they don't even know they need to ask.
Right.
So I become like a friend in that journey with them, and I take great pride in that.
It's a very good point. Actually, you know what? Now I can confess, one of your customers mentioned, why I like Narges? She never cut corners. And I thought, oh wow, that's something, because usually people in service industry, what we call, and I kind of relate to that too.
Sure.
And probably that's why some people like me or not, but I always tell them, I'm not in the beauty context, so you like me or not, I'm on your side. And then you decide if it was good for you.
Yeah.
And I feel the same here. So I think what you just mentioned is very, very important, because sometimes when you're in the service industry, my feeling is that people, unfortunately, getting out of the old tradition of servicing people, but now the tendency is to adapt people to the environment and say, you have to follow this. No, I think people have to understand their own personality and then project that personality on their own ecosystem, the environment, and their home. For all intents and purposes, it's their home.
That's right.
It's not the opposite. It's not home for them. It's their home. And whatever they bring, and sometimes they need guidance in that, what they bring there, because some people say, yeah, whatever, I can live in a shed. Right. Try to live in a shed, and very soon you will understand the
Then
difference.
come talk to me.
And then come talk to me. Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Beautifully said. Fantastic. So when you approach your customers, you approach people from all different cultures, I presume.
100%, yes.
Have you ever experienced something like, and God forbid it's not about cultural prejudice or something like that, but maybe just tell me, because I feel some people in services will probably question that particular point. So let's help them how to deal with this, if we can. You approach someone and people say, yeah, we know where you're coming from, we know your taste, we understand that, but I am easier, I am from another world, I am from another culture, I like to take things differently, you follow my lead. Will you follow?
I do have a client just like that right now. I have to be truthful, it's very challenging, right?
Because you see what he or she doesn't see.
That's right.
But you feel
exactly
okay.
it. So it doesn't sit well with me. You know, it's actually it's been challenging. I pride myself as a kind of like a sidebar. I pride myself in selecting or hiring the right clients for myself. I believe we have to be the right match.
Yeah.
But you know what? Once in a while, it happens.
It's
know.
a challenge.
Yeah.
But that's why we have them.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's always a learning process.
Like
but
to keep us in line.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So in that case, if I can tell you, I am still providing this service at the standards that I have to, but definitely you're not my type of client, and we're not the perfect match, so we will have to break up sometime, but of course I will deliver my work, you know, with excellence, and then we can part ways. And then next time I have to do a better job interviewing
yes.
my
I
client.
have a joke. Feel free to use it. We're not getting into marriage, we're going to date. Let's make it pleasant.
That's it. Let's have some fun at least.
Let's have some fun.
Yeah.
Okay, it's very interesting. Let's segue to your personal life. Outside of business, what kind of hobbies you have? You fit, you're beautiful, you maintain yourself somehow, magically. I don't know how ladies manage to do that. But what's your line of interest, and how, especially for new immigrants, because when they come in here, they are in this, what we call, survival mode. But I always tell them, listen, with opportunity, especially here in BC. Go hiking, go to see nature, swim in the ocean, at least walk by the ocean side and enjoy this fresh air and do something for yourself. Don't seclude yourself into this survival mode, because we all made that mistake, and sometimes we now wish that we spend more time with children, with more time with our loved ones, and maybe travel less or maybe work less. But at the end of the day, how you see this balance of life and business and interest in life? What's your interest in life outside of your business?
So, as a newcomer, you have to jump into work. I can only speak for my work culture back home.
Right.
People work so hard in Canada. If you're at work for 8 hours, you are working 8 hours, right? So this was an adaptation for all of us.
Right.
So really, after work, you're really exhausted. You want to sleep and eat and sort of survival mode to go back to work. So there is a period of time, and it could be short or long, but for me, I would say for any new immigrant, between 2 to 4 years, you know, it really takes for you to sort of assimilate with that even flow of life, right? For me, what I did, and it's like you have to find out what energizes you. For me, I've always been into fitness. So in between there, walks or going to the gym, getting some sort of exercise, that worked for me. Now, fast forward, right? You know how they say it's cliche, someone, like when you're an employee, you work 40 hours a week, but then when you start your own business, you work 80 hours a week. You know, you
and
leave.
Assumption of some people is like you will work less.
Yeah, it's not.
I ask very many
Absolutely.
inspiring entrepreneurs, and they say, when I ask them, what's your biggest motivation? Oh, I want to manage my schedule. And my answer to them, honey, you're not going to have any schedule. You will be there.
You're absolutely correct.
Here, at least for the first little while.
So you better enjoy what you do. You better love your line of work. You better be passionate about it, because your business is your baby, and you spend every minute of every single day. So how I bring that balance into my life? Again, exercising, keeping fit, going to the gym. I do kickboxing, I do weightlifting. I know. I told you that fighter spirit in me.
You have to let it go somewhere.
That energy. And of course, we live in BC, you know, lots of hikes, even just leaving your home and just looking at the mountains. Mountains, as you can tell, my
heart. Do you go polar bear?
What's that?
Do you go polar bear?
No.
I challenge you to go with me a polar bear.
No.
I swim in the ocean in winter.
I don't do well with cold. I love the heat.
Okay, something.
Tell me a really hot sauna, I will challenge you, but not polar bear swim. Yeah.
Let's go for sauna competition.
Yeah. Okay. But last thing I want to add here is, as a business owner, right? And I think this applies to anybody, as a member of a family, any community, my take is you have to bring your best to your community, to your family, to your clients. So my mission, besides work, nurturing my clients and my projects, is to feel my best, whatever that is, and that changes from day to day, so I can bring my best self out to my clients, to my family, to my community, to my friends.
A long time ago, I discovered when people call on you and asking for life advice outside of the line of business, I think at that moment you feel like you did something good. And that's probably kind of level of success many people maybe not even thinking of achieving, but when people call on you for something else, parental advice, life advice, moving advice, settlement advice, or maybe something happened in their life otherwise, you feel like they trust you. And I think for any entrepreneur, if they think about people first, it will come one day or later. It's just inevitable. It's a natural extension of your services, what you provide as a service. And I feel that in you, and in showing people example of who you are, how strong you are, how available you are. Because if you're not taking care of yourself, and that's my motivation, I'm almost 60, but I exercise every day. What I'm saying is, if you're not physically ready and up to a challenge, any life storm can take you down easily.
Yes.
And some people actually are looking for that kind of excuse, and that's why they're not successful. Would that be correct statement if I say, Narges, people who work hard but also like what they do and like people who they do it for will inevitably succeed?
100%.
100%.
You have to be
Yeah.
congruent.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
That's a good word. What your meaning of that in terms
I
of...
mean, you need to know your values,
Mhm.
right? Once you
Right.
have strong values, and your values are very personal, right?
course.
Of course, there's cultural values, there's societal values, and there are personal values. Once you know what your values are, then everything you do is congruent, meaning it's on the same line because you're going towards your values.
Right.
I value fitness. I value a healthy mind, body, and spirit. And to me, that I know what that means. That means I have to take the time for myself every morning
Yeah.
to have a good baseline. Then when I face you, when I face my clients or anybody who comes close, I will emanate my best.
Yeah.
I will bring my best. That's one of my values.
One wise man said once, be beautiful and strong outside for people and inside for God. Well, I guess something there.
Yes.
I think in terms of your business, how you approach it, I kind of sense that because you focus on fitness and energy flow and how environment will fit into personal life, I bet your interior design structures and schemes and what you propose to people, probably you based on how energy flow, how people walk around the space.
100%.
Because if it's cluttered, if it's on the way, people cannot walk from A to Z smoothly and without any obstacle. I guess that would bring some dissonance in you, and that helps you to see what they would benefit from, even if they don't see it yet.
Yes, you're talking about space planning now.
Space planning.
Space planning,
Okay.
yes, I see that.
Yeah.
As soon as I enter your house, I see that flow. I see how you can. There's something you don't talk about, but you know, you feel
Absolutely.
it.
Yeah.
When space has good flow, you know it,
Yes.
you feel it. So that's my job.
Good.
Also, something that I'm really excellent at is when I sit down and talk to people,
Right.
I figure out what makes them tick.
Yep.
If you listen, it's not that difficult to learn what sparks joy, for the lack of better term,
Yeah.
Americano style. What makes people, what brings happiness to their lives? You know, once
Right.
you listen, you pick those things up. And then for me, I use those pointers to set up the room, to bring the colors and furniture and texture and adjust the floor plan so that flow,
Right.
you know, exists, and so on and so forth. Yes.
I think you just touch base on something very important. Sometimes when I teach entrepreneurs who just started in business, and I have a couple programs, but what brings special joy when I see people who are naturally curious, because if you're not thinking about other people and always into yourself, you cannot bring benefit to people really. At some point, that will betray you, right? Because if you're not curious in people, you don't care what people feel and how they behave and what they want, how can you achieve success in business? Recently, I can share this experience. I hired a couple professionals, and one presented the business in terms of this is what we do and this is how we do this. Never ask me what we want, literally. Another, even though we kind of described the scope of work, it wasn't a housework, and he said, but what do you want? And I immediately felt the connection. Yeah, technically I don't know how to do this, but this is what I want, I said, and he came up with the solution. And what's best, he implemented, which I call liability for showing good initiative.
Yes.
So if you say something, you must be able to deliver.
Back it up,
And he
yeah.
was, and it was such a dramatic difference. And I think people working with you, at least who I, very limited amount of people I communicated, they will happy about your work. It's amazing.
Yeah.
What would be your best advice for people not to be afraid? We know, stick to customers' interest, learn them. That's number 2. What would be the last one if we have 3 major ones?
Something that I did myself, volunteer where you want to be, and let's say you want to, whether you're staying in your own industry and you want to try a different industry, find the person that's doing what you want to do, find a company that's providing the service or product that you're appreciating, right, you're passionate about, and literally go there, knock on the door and say, I want to learn from you. I've done that multiple times.
You did, eh?
Yes.
Because people talking about, I rarely see people who did it.
Yeah, there's more often than not, 9 out of 10 times, people are super ecstatic. Like, wow, yes, I will teach you. Come shadow me. Come do this, you know. And that's the opening. That's sort of planting the seed.
That's amazing advice for people, especially in a new country, in a new culture.
100%.
Wow.
Yes. Yes. Tried and true.
Yes, yes. Let's twist it a little bit.
All right.
You travel back to Tehran and go around the country, see your friends, and having nice coffee or tea in the cafe, which is great in Tehran and along Iran as well.
Yes.
The tradition is great. You're sitting and one person asking you this question. Sorry, Narges, you there, you settle, you seem happy. I am moving, my paperwork is done in the next month or 2. What do I need to do? What do I need to learn? What do I need to prepare for? What would be your advice?
Oh, such a good one. Learn as much English as possible.
Oh, that
right?
helpful.
And then when you come, when you land, right away start working. Right away, doesn't matter what it is. All you want is to be around people who speak the language, so your ear gets used to it. Constantly have the TV on, have the radio on. That comprehension and speaking skills, tremendously important. I have family members who've been here for 8 years, still cannot speak English. This is sad. There is so much in this country. This country has so much to offer, you know. So I would say that, and I know it's easier said than done, but don't be afraid. Like, just jump in. You know, once you get a job, and why do I say get a job? Obviously, if it's paid better, but even if it's volunteer work, it helps with that, you know, assimilation into the new culture.
Very true.
That to me is the most important first step.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Makes you stronger. And for God's sake, stop continuing education. Learn the work.
Yes,
you know,
actually, it's very good. It's very good because people sometimes come and say, no, I have to start from the beginning. I have to learn. No, you already achieved something in life.
Yes.
If you're not like after high school, of course, then it's a different story. But if you achieve something, see what you can do first before you give up. Before you succumb to this fear of stability, fear of achievement, fear of any kind of settlement issues that press on you. It's like those shadows that you're afraid because they're there. Once you put some light, they disappear.
They disappear.
And
that's right.
Such a great place to stop our conversation.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Of course, likewise.
Thank you. And wish you
It's
all
been
the
great.
success in life.
Yes, likewise. We'll see you soon.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank you.